Now, Sibiya, he claimed that when he bought the small holding, it had antelope, blessbok, emu, and he said the last antelope died in November 2023. Only one blessbok remained. He stopped commercial farming due to cost. He said he had engaged in commercial farming, meaning he knows the difference between antelope, blessbok, impalas. So he wouldn't confuse that and tell us that he had no antelopes by 2023. And then he said, and then claimed that he had one blessbok. And then I start thinking, okay, isn't blessbok an antelope? Yeah, it is an antelope. It's like saying I engaged in dog breeding. I had no dog in my property by 2023. I only had one Labrador. So you had dogs in your property if you say you had only one Labrador, because Labrador is a dog. Blessbok is an antelope. It's a category. Anyway, for someone who claimed to us that he had engaged in commercial farming, meaning he would understand the needs of these impalas that allegedly died. 20 of them died. Oh my God, I feel sad. 20 impalas, all of them gradually died under Sibiya's watch. Yup. So yeah, he claimed that he only had one blessbok. Of course, he only needed another blessbok to to form a breeding pair. That's what you know, he said. He said he did not want to Impala. He rejected Impala delivery. That's what he said in a statement. He rejected Impala delivery. He did not want Impalas. That's what he said to the commissioners. Okay.
You say, in March 2024, I owned Impala and I had them in my property. And that is a problem. Because you only mentioning it now when you are shown the photos. And I specifically asked you a question. Are those animals that we see there, are they impalas, yes or no? You said they are impalas. But nowhere in your statement do you say, on the 27th of March, I owned impalas and I had them in my property. And you have heard General Sentumule's affidavit and the photos since Friday. So you've had the whole weekend to go through it. And at no stage in your affidavit do you say, the animals that are depicted in the annexures to General Sentumule's affidavit, I had them in my property in March 2024. Nowhere do you say that.
You see, Chair, sometimes when you are in a situation that I'm facing where you have to draft something and you craft something, and this thing is to be subjected to intense probing or cross-examination.
How does that answer the question about him lying about having impalas? So because he told the statement that he didn't have an impalas, he only wanted blessbok, and he said he had an in Zimbabwean gardener who helped him find this other blessbok that he was after, until he saw a statement of another police officer who says, Sibiya, yeah, share the photos of impalas with us. We saw the impalas. And he actually confirmed when he was asked, are these impalas? He said, yes, they are impalas. Lies, lies, lies. Lies don't have long legs. They just have short legs, I think, as the saying goes. You know, yeah, because the WhatsApp contradiction is for him really was a nail in the coffin. in Sibiya's evidence, really. Yeah, the 27 March 2024 WhatsApp message that he sent to General Sintimule showing 4 Impalas in his backyard created a structural conflict. Because he had said no impalas were mentioned in his initial account. In his initial account, as the Commissioner Kumalo said, there was no impala in his affidavit. He framed his need strictly around one blessed book. Okay? Did not want impalas at all. And he said the reason why he rang Sergeant Ngosi was that to confirm that he really understands that there is a difference between Impala and Blessbok. They all have horns, but they're different. One has a white face, the other one doesn't have a white face. So there is a difference. So he wanted to make sure. So only after being confronted, then he start changing the evidence to say, his Zimbabwean gardener obtained them for him. This one was a reactive explanation to cover up the primary testimony that had gap. Not part of his primary testimony, really, was a really reactive one. Credibility is assessed by whether facts are volunteered early, whether disclosures are complete, whether explanations emerge only when confronted. The pattern here appears to be initially narrow narrative, only one blessed book needed, no mention of Impala on property. What's a photo contradicts that he had sent to his colleague. Now, then being shown this WhatsApp photo, he now provides a new explanation. It's now introduced under pressure. That one weakens perceived candor. That one, it's just not, it's not it. Because if he did not want Impala, why were there 4 Impalas on the property in March 2024? Yes, he explained he did not want Impalas before because he said by November 2023 he had no Impalas in his property. Previously had once, and he said they gradually died, but denied ever being gifted with these Impala because he only met Matlala in January 2024. That's why. You see? Hey, hey, yeah, no, 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 no. Yo.
Other things begin to pop out that ask certain questions and that require specific questions or answers that at that time when you were crafting, you craft and you say, all right, let me keep it short. Let me not go too deep in 1, 2, 3, 4. Some of the questions you may have to respond to, you'll speak to them if asked. But now when you are sitting here, they ask a question and say, yeah, but why did you deliberately choose to ignore 1, 2, 3, 4, or specifically don't mention 1, 2, 3, 4? And obviously, sometimes it might be a question of, said, no, don't put too much details. You will respond to it. Now, unfortunately, I'm being asked now, but why did you deliberately choose to omit 1, 2, 3? It does happen, commissioners, and not because of I'm being evasive.
Sure, thanks, General. I think the concern is that what you omit is not something small. The kind of evidence that you're now answering in response to questions are not issues that are peripheral. This section is called Impala controversy. You called it that in your statement. The reason it's a controversy is because it involves acquiring Impala from Mr. Matlala. Isn't that so? That's why it became controversial. I mean, if you had Impalas on your, as part of whatever it is, but not from people you shouldn't be getting gifts from, then it wouldn't be an issue, right? It's a controversy because of Mr. Matlala, isn't that so?
Yes.
So there's another glaring omission from this section on the Impalas, and that is that you don't address, you've said to Commission now that you notice that Sergeant Nkosi says to you, from CAT, and you say that you took distance from it because, well, you said, as we said, two things. One is you said you don't want Impala, we've dealt with that now. The second was you took distance from that because you will not accept anything from a service provider, right? That's actually the heart of what this section is about. But you don't deal with it at all in your statement. Why did you not deal with it in the statement and only when it was put to you in questions?
Yes, in a situation like this, it is easy to ask such a question from where I'm sitting because I'm the one who's expected to explain. But if I'm allowed to give a different but similar and relevant example, I don't know if the chair is going to stop me from
no, I don't know what the chair will say.
No,
but
I understand, but I want to give a similar.
Similar to what?
Example. And this thing, and I wish up until, I'm not going to say a long statement, I'm going to put one statement. If I'm allowed, Chair.
You see, the difficulty is I have no idea what you're going to talk about and to what extent, if at all, it relates to the question being asked.
I want to give a practical example of that it is possible. And not that you are hiding something, but it is doable.
Oh, all right, let's hear it.
When General Mkhwanazi testified here, he never made mention that he ever met Matlala in any way. When General Senona testified here, he says, I went with him there. Then General Mkhwanazi sent a message to Senona and say, you see now your client said is now exposing our meeting and he never said this and this and that. What I'm just trying to say, that omission, at that point in time, maybe it was not necessary for him to say it, but I was just giving a similar type of approach and say, look, it does happen that it's not like my omission was deliberate. Sometimes it just never, at that point in time.
No, General. The difference is you say in your statement at paragraph 38, you say, over time the remaining antelope also died, save for one blessed bog which is still on the plot. That's what you say in your statement. So at that point, you did have the opportunity, because remember the preceding paragraphs, you're talking about escalating costs, you no longer have money, and so you cease dealing in antelopes and emus and blessed bog. That's the background to it. And then you say at 34, over time, the remain died, save for one blessed bog. And then at a certain stage, it began to display unusual behavior, and then that's when now you introduce Sergeant Nkosi, you account for the exchanges with Sergeant Nkosi. What is being put to you is that, but the way you describe what happens to your animals over time, it's curious at best that you don't mention that when you were left with, as they were dying, you got your friend or your driver to get other animals, which you still had by the time you were communicating with Mr. Nkosi, with Sergeant Nkosi about getting your animals. You don't mention that. In fact, you create the impression, and I think that is the correct impression, that they had all died. And you were left with only one, and in March 2024, you were being offered, we'll call them antelopes because that's the language you are using. You were being offered impalas at that time.
Chair, I may have to revert to my notes as I drafted. As I was writing and sending to my counsel, and then she was drafting. So I just wanted to ascertain whether, didn't I really also indicate that I acquired some in between?
So how is that going to help him? This is an affidavit. He did say that he swear that was his, everything that's in that of his affidavit was true and correct. So meaning that he would have read the statement drafted by his counsels and signed as true statement for what happened. Because lawyers are not there to actually as someone to hide behind. So he can't hide behind his lawyers. He doesn't even understand that. That the statement you sign. When you sign it, you confirm that everything you've written there is accurate. It reflects the truth, only the truth. If there any problem, you don't sign it. You get it rectified before you sign it. You need to really verify that statement drafted by the legal team reflects the truth, your truth. So he's now blaming his lawyer. Seriously, Sibiya.
Because, like I said, Chair, it was completed late last night to an extent that the other concern was you've got to sleep early because you've got a long day tomorrow, and the counsel also, when I called, she was already sleeping because she's been working hard on this document, and we met in the morning. Some of the greater or finer details could have been really fixed, and I know it's not the problem of the evidence leader nor the commission, but I take the blame, evidence leader.
General, thanks. I just want to say that what I was putting to you was not just the issue of the Impalas and the missing information. It was also about not dealing with the Mr. Matlala, because why this is a controversy in the first place. So it's not the finer details that are missing. What you put on record more than once, including in your statement of 16 January, was that you categorically, and you're not tentative about your evidence, you say you categorically deny that you received anything from Mr. Matlala. So you say that in relation to the Impalas, you say that no, it did not involve Mr. Matlala. Then we take you to the messages, and the messages show that in fact the arrangement was through Mr. Matlala, because it says from CAT. So then you say, well, yes, you realized that, and so your way of dealing with it was to say you're not going to accept delivery from a service provider. But then when you're taken to the evidence which shows that there was delivery and that there are Impala on your property, coincidentally, after the date of delivery, as we see from the chats, then you say that the Zimbabwean gardener went and procured it for you. So that's what I am putting to you about the inconsistencies, and that the omissions that you are now filling in as we go along are not just the finer details. They actually goes to the heart of this issue of the Impala controversy. So do you understand where I'm coming from? These are very important facts that were omitted.
You went too long. Can you give me half of what you said so that I respond and go to the next one?
No, it's the whole picture. No. I can't give you half, because and that's why I laid it out from the beginning to say this is what you said and then you changed. This is what you said and then you changed. So each time when you say, well, no, you didn't put it in your statement, it's an omission, it's a finer detail you could have. I'm saying to you those omissions, whether it's about, the fact that you knew that Mr. Matlala was involved in this, or whether it was about the delivery of the Impalas, that they were on your property, that they died on the 27th of March, all of those things are important facts that you don't deal with, except when you questioned on
One
it.
thing that I've categorically made clear is that I never asked Mr. Nkosi to approach Mr. Matlala. I didn't know who and how was Mr. Nkosi going to assist me in getting such. Secondly, I am categorically denying that I ever received any such delivery from Mr. Matlala's side or from Nkosi's side, because I didn't need them at that time. Now, I'm saying also that I am not saying what I'm saying because I'm being asked questions. I don't want to get or be pushed into a corner of saying, yeah, you knew it comes from Matlala. I had nothing that I've assisted Matlala with, nothing that I worked with him on, and he had no reason to give me anything because I have never assisted him. I don't think he would invest in a dead horse because having to do with the tenders is supply chain, and I'm far from the supply chain, so I wouldn't be of any value to him. With regard to whatever that was happening in his investigations, it was being handled in the province. So I'm just saying, to me, I had no real-time dealings with Matlala that could lead me to interact in such a way that he can give me something. That's what I wanted to say.
General, let me correct one thing. Mr. Matlala would not have asked for a meeting with you, and he would not have made an effort to meet with you in January 2024 if you had nothing useful to provide to him. The reason you said so yourself, he came to you, is because he sought your assistance or intervention. That's the real reason for the meeting in January 2024. He sought your assistance or intervention. And a month and a half later, there's the issue of Impalas. So you are not correct when you say you had nothing to offer him because issues of tenders were supply chain issues. He came to you in relation to issues of tenders because he thought you could assist him. He was not wasting his time when he came to your office in January 2024.
Can I comment, Commissioner? Now, yes, he came to me with the hope as advised by General Tema and Sintumule that go and see General Sibiya, he's the acting national commissioner, maybe he could assist. I saw it coming, that why am I being approached when I'm acting? I signed nothing. And what I did, I never assisted him in any way. All I could say was to say, I heard you, I will take it to the national commissioner.
That's the assistance.
It's not. He didn't get what he wanted. I went to the national commissioner and said, Nascom, I had this visit from this lawyer and Mr. Matlala is complaining about 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the national commissioner says, well, I understand that you say the man has got a lease agreement, but the public works is not going to dictate to us as to how to utilize our building on our premises. That's the feedback I had to give to Mr. Matlala. That was my role.
This stuff about him, it's a legal credibility assessment. Omission revealed under confrontation are damaging. They're not really his testimony. I mean, I'm still questioning the person that puts him there. That person who puts Matlala in this Sibiya in this position, while failed the competency assessment, needs to come to Matlala Commission and explain his decision to do that, because this doesn't make sense to me. Really? Huh? Yo? So also another thing is that why did he send these photos to General Sintumule?
Thank you. One last thing then we need to go to before we leave Impala's, and that is a recording that was made by witness C when he was questioning Mr. Matlala, You've already listened to these recordings, haven't you?
I listened to it at that time, but yes, okay.
Okay. Can I play it again? Chair, we have a transcript, but I suggest we look at the transcript and we hear the recording, because the transcript in some places leaves an ellipsis, which you can actually hear on the recording. So I think if you have both, it would help. So the transcript of this recording is in file 6. At page 632.
No, I tend to forget. I listen.
It's audio recording E. Page 632.
I'm listening.
Do you have it, page 632?
632.
Yes.
Yes.
General Male Speaker 2 is witness C, and then Mr. Matlala is named. And this is the transcript, but we will play the recording as well. The transcript is 2 pages long. Can we play the recording?
It happened, it was very dangerous. So Timofile, the Impala, unfortunately all of them, I don't know how, but for a night, I told you this, how to do that. So never they died, all of them, they don't. So, but they died all of them, unfortunately. So again, don't know when the other no, I'm feeling in this. Can you register? So you don't remember, it's a game reserve. I say private. It's not like it's in the wild. It's a 3,000 hectare farm. Okay. So they are roaming free. Yeah. It's not like you can name or over the feeder. It's in the wild. Okay. So I didn't try every day I think maybe.
General, I don't know if you were able to, if you've heard it before, then it would be easier to follow. If you haven't heard it before, then the transcript is better for you to rely on. But the essence of it is what Mr. Matlala is saying, is that he gave you Impalas, and then he said they died, all of them, and he said there were about 20 of them, and he says, yeah, at the plot, they died, all of them. So Mr. Matlala here says that he gave you Impalas and that he gave you many Impalas.
I'm very worried about the evidence leader because she selectively chooses portions that she thinks could only address what she wants to achieve, but also deliberately choosing to ignore the fact that Mr. Matlala raised an issue and said, I have a problem with this recording. This is not my voice. It was AI generated. That's the first point. The second point.
Now, that one is extremely unlikely to be an AI. Extremely unlikely. So the details of the background noise is telling, okay? Because we know that AI voice cloning typically overlays overlays voice onto static or controlled noise environments. The natural environmental audio contains complex reverberation modeling, so it's really difficult for an AI to be able to capture that natural environment reverberation that you hear in the background. So this recording does capture this, the real-time environmental shifts. Voice reacting to environment. You can hear the voice of people speaking multiple voices reacting to that environment. That makes synthetic generation less likely. All right. So no Sibiya, no, 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 no. This recording is the real recording, and we've had his voices in our committee anyway. It's AI. It's easy to capture AI now. AI voices when it's used. I think the video before the one I posted, there was an AI voice in it. You can typically capture an AI voice very easy now to actually hear. It lacks that natural speech, that rhythm, that tonic. It just doesn't have it. It's like a robot, as it say. It's a computer thing, all right? Doesn't have that rhythm. So that's not. It's not possible, Sibiya. So no, 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 no. It's not possible.
The second point is that when you go down, there are a lot of things that I'm going to tell you that witness C said, this is where we went, we took money to. There's no that place. This is what we did here, and I have proof of this and that. She does. All I'm just saying is that I want to, if we were to play this thing, I'm not worried about this recording at all because it's such a lie. In all the things witness C mentioned, I do have plots, bonded, bought more than 4 years ago, all of them. And the plot that I bought is because I was at the city of Joburg. I was working there, I could afford one that was on auction or one that was very cheap. So all I'm saying is that this thing, firstly, even the head of IDEC testified and said the phone was tampered with. Secondly, when you look at the interview, whether the man was under pressure, was being assaulted, or like they used certain relevant portions. So to me, I rejected this video with the contempt it deserves up until I get proven wrong or an expert is called that this voice was not manipulated. It is the man himself. But I don't want this thing to be used against me when I'm going to prove to you in the following lot of them that, in fact, this is not true.
So let me just say to you, General, first of all, this was introduced into evidence by the investigators who were present at the time that the recording was took place. This has nothing to do with IDAC. IDAC's never raised any objection in relation to these recordings. I can tell you that now. It was introduced into evidence. It was, and it was the testimony of the witnesses who were present. They gave evidence here in this commission. Mr. Matlala may deny that that is a recording for whatever reason he wishes to say this is AI generated. But what I'm putting to you here is what the evidence has been that has been placed before this commission. You may respond to it.
I want to respond to.
But when you respond to it, either you say you're not going to be responding to any of this because of your concerns, and I want to be clear exactly what you're saying, whether you're going to answer questions on it or whether you're not.
I will answer questions,
Okay.
Chair. I will answer every question.
Yeah. So there's an issue around this thing. The risk around the statement is a procurement ethics, where animals linked to contract relationship, number one, where the disclosure integrity, why were Impala omitted from initial testimony. Another thing that's so important that I think I want SPCA to investigate is the wildlife compliance here. The NSPCA. The NSPCA is the National Council of Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. They need to investigate the death of these 20 Impalas were permits issued for Impala acquisition. Did Sibiya acquire permits for these Impalas? That 20 of them. Because I say having one or two Impalas in a, holding, like, small holding, one or two, 1,200, it may not be a problem. But when you have so many of them, they're special. The Impala needs very big property, 1,000 hectares, to have them, to look after them really well. You just cannot have them just like a zoo. Put them in a zoo thing. It will be a problem for their health and mental health. My grandfather used to have them. There are only two of them. These, because he used to tell me, no, we can't have more than two because of the property. But yeah, so Sibiya had 20 of them and they all died. They all died, gradually died. That, for me, is concerning. I am so concerned about the death of these Imbalas, and I think the NSPCA needs to investigate this to ensure that, to have a look at whether Sibiya followed got the permit first to have the 20 of them based on the size of his property, that the surrounding, because permit looks at the surrounding, the environment, the fencing, and the food availability for them to eat. Okay, so it looks a lot of that's the permit for it to say, yeah, green light, you can have them in this land because you meet all the requirement to own these animals. And again, if he had one, then were they investigated? The death of them investigated? Were they ill? Did they have any illness? Were the vet certificate involved around the death of these impalas? So that is important. The Impala thing for Sibiya is still not going away. I don't think it's going away because didn't hear anywhere where they were asking him about this, and I hope the NSPCA is investigating this imbalance unless they're also part of this cartel thing group. They've lost their authority to act. Well, we need to know because I was stunned. 20 of them died, gradually died. Huh? Yo. That one is no. For me, it shocked me. The death of these Impala shocked me.